You start out with a blank canvas. When you're done putting this bunch of goo on there, that's what paint is. The shapes and colors come together to form something beautiful. Todd Doney was educated at the prestigious American Academy of Art in Chicago. Upon graduation, he obtained his first commission, a football illustration for Playboy magazine. For the next 25 years, he created artwork for book covers, sports teams, and advertising agencies. Art education, however, has always been his passion. As a full-time professor, he teaches drawing, painting, and portfolio and presentation classes. Professor Doney finds it rewarding when his students learn from him, not to mention the fresh artistic perspectives that the students provide him in return.
Welcome to Garden State at the Arts. Today we are joined by fellow artist and aficionado Todd Doney. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you coming out. You know, one of the things, when it comes to your artistry, your illustrations, everything of that nature, that's something I think about is mediums. Like, is there a signature medium that you tend to go for when you go out and create what you do?
Well, I love all mediums. Oil tends to be the one I do the most of now in my gallery work, but I love watercolor, I love gouache, I love color pencil. I do all those as demos in my classes here at CCM, and it's just fun. But I do use oils as my medium of choice for my gallery work now. So
that said, are there any artists or influences that you kind of pull from in creating your artworks?
Yeah, there's many. George Inness, Monet, of course, Degas, Maxfield Parrish, I love his work. There's some illustrators that I look at, Bernie Fuchs and Mark English. So there's so many people I look at. And there's people today that are working that I look at. It just inspires me to see great art and makes me want to do great art.
So a lot of those artists, they focus on landscape. That's kind of your genre. Do you have a genre?
Well, actually, I do more landscapes now. I started out as an illustrator doing all kinds of anything, media guide covers, book covers, brochures, anything. But I switched halfway through my career, and now I do gallery work. And my work today is kind of based on the Great Swamp, which is where I live. That was destined to be an airport. So it's sort of like my reasoning for doing that is to say, hey, watch out, this might disappear someday, and it almost did. It almost became an airport. So that's what my gallery work is really focused on. I live there, paint what you know, that's what I know.
As I say, the medium is the message at that rate. That's a good old check for Ray there. You work with a lot of students here out of CCM. How would you say your artwork may influence them or vice versa, and how they kind of carry their career outside of the classroom?
Actually, it's both. It's both. I see what they do sometimes, and it makes me say, I'm going to try something that kid did today. Or when I do my demos, I'm sure that I'm influencing many of them how to do it, because I see them. I see them working, and sometimes I'll do a demo, and I see my little demo in their work. So it works both ways though there.
Absolutely. I imagine, somewhere along the ways you've worked with a lot of clients. Has there already been challenging moments, whether it's the project or the client themselves, that you've had to kind of overcome? Yeah,
okay, I'm going to tell you two stories. The first one is just recently I had to do like 6 paintings for my gallery, who has a space in this thing called Mansions in May here in New Jersey. And he wanted 6 paintings within like a month. And they were big paintings, 5 feet by 4 feet, 3 feet by 4. It was a lot of work. And my wife was even mad at me for just working all the time and not cleaning. But it's okay, I don't mind doing that. But then another time when I was an illustrator, I was doing work for McDonald's. I was doing a Michael Jordan poster of him playing basketball. And I was going back and forth with the art director, sketches, re-sketches, revisions, and he said, I need to FedEx this thing to me overnight, and it was a Friday. He wanted it Saturday. I just said FedEx overnight, which meant it got there Monday, and he called me up on Saturday, where's the thing, got in a big argument, and that was probably the last time I worked for McDonald's. Wow. So they didn't get it there overnight. It was a mistake, but so things happen.
Did that end up changing how you work with clients moving forward?
Yeah, I don't work for McDonald's anymore.
Right. Well, not with McDonald's, but just in general,
Yeah. Well, I just said, just make sure you don't, watch what you're doing. That was a business decision. My art decisions have always been fine. But you know, you're a business too, so just make sure you take care of business.
Is there a way you kind of like, prepare yourself going into a project by any means, like, visualization, etc.?
Well, when I do a painting or a job, I usually have to do some preliminary work, sketches. Sometimes I bring stuff into Photoshop and mess around with it on the computer and get ready, prep it. And it goes with anything I do, illustration or paintings. You got to be prepared. So yes, there's a lot going on. You don't just sit down and just say, oh, what do I paint today? It's a lot of work. People don't realize that.
I think we actually have some video clip usage of what you've got when it comes to some of your work that's hanging up here in the hallways even. If we could take a look at that.
Yeah, this is our CCM gallery here, and I have a painting that's just outside the gallery. The gallery's empty right there. But okay, there's my painting, and this is indicative of what I usually do for my galleries. It's like a landscape of the Great Swamp. I title them of the time and date that I saw that image, and again, it's to kind of bolster that my concept that it's a fleeting moment, and you got to take care of it, or it might vanish, as it could turn into an airport. It's
really impressive because again, even as you you go, whether you're in on well, it's not a photo, but it looks like a photo. That's the incredible detail that you put towards your work there. You can really tell that you take the time. How long does one of these even take for you to make?
About an hour.
Really?
No.
Don't be pulling my leg.
Yeah, no, it's it's like a week or two. But that's the effect I want to have. I want you to look at it and know it's a painting. So that's why when you see it up close, you see my brush strokes. I'm not trying to fool you in saying this is photorealism. It's a painting. And then when you get back, it's the scene that I saw that day or that particular moment in time. So it's exactly what I want. I want it to be a painting, and I want you to say, oh, I experienced that the same way I experienced it. Like you're there almost.
In developing your style, have things changed from like when you first started, perhaps after your college career to now?
I think you always evolve, and I couldn't exactly put a finger on it, but I know that when I was younger, I did things a certain way, and I went through periods. Not, much like, I don't want to compare myself to Picasso, but he did, his rose period, blue period. Okay, I had periods where I say, oh yeah, I was using a lot of green that period, or I was using a lot of reds, and it evolves. And now I'm doing a little bit more kind of panoramic kind of things, where before I was zooming in on the nature. So you do change. I guess you got to stay interested.
Sometimes there's a bit of lineage to when it comes to where someone comes from and their work purpose. Do you have any artistic ties in your family lineage?
Yes, my grandmother was a painter. Not professionally, but she painted. My aunt painted. My mother painted. My uncle painted. My father, who was a police chief, he knew how to draw. There was a famous story. My brother painted his room when he was a little kid, and of course got yelled at. He did it again, got yelled at, did it again. Finally, my father said, let's just draw on the wall. And he did this big, great, like undersea scene on my brother's wall. So yeah, they all could draw.
Right.
It's great.
Right. Yeah, you were saying earlier, like starting from a young age, at the age of like 3 or something, correct?
Yeah, I won an art contest when I was 3, and I was a Casper the Friendly Ghost. I drew. It was wonderful. I don't remember it, but I do remember getting a rocking horse. And I just thought, wow, this is kind of fun. You do draw a painting or draw something, and you get rocking horse.
Right.
You get rewards.
As far as your gallery goes, is there a chance for people in the area to come visit? Is it like an open gallery? Certain hours to the gallery?
Yeah, my work is represented by Broadfoot and Broadfoot in Boonton. I sometimes will have a whole show where it's just my work, but sometimes it's other people. But my stuff's usually on premise. You can stop in there and you can see it. So they're around.
That's great. No, definitely, we'll have to check it out, or, it's the Todd Museum, if you will, at some point in time. It's the gallery, and we're really pleased to have you here and happy to have you teaching the next generation of artists out there for those you're looking to influence. And thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us today on Garden State of the Arts. We'll see you in the next episode.